Hi everyone, welcome back to my allotment. I thought it was time for a quick update on what's been going on because I haven't done an update since I planted the garlic, so that's been quite a while, and things have been growing and I've been working, so I thought it was time for a little plot update. It's April the 6th today, so let's have a little tour of what's growing and what's going on. Right, my first bed down here is full of garlic, which is coming along quite nicely. Pretty happy with how that's going. Not a lot to say about that really. It's doing what it's meant to be doing. Over across here we've got some elephant garlic, which again pretty happy with. And I had a little gap here which I've just put some snowball onions in, and they're just starting to come up. Moving over here is the stock plants that you may have seen in one of my previous videos. They're not great, obviously did something wrong with them, but I've managed to keep 5 plants, and although they're not the most healthiest of specimens, it's flowering and it smells really pretty, so I'm going to leave them there and let them do their thing, and then when they're over I'll probably plant something else where they've been. Over to this bed. And if you watched my growing garlic video, you will have seen me putting this garlic in. Again, that's coming along quite nicely now. Don't seem to have lost any, so yeah. And I just transplanted these little onions out a couple of days ago. They're meant to be giant onions. They're not especially giant, but I think I sowed them too late. And well, it's only April the 6th, so we'll see what happens with them. Over here, I put in a couple of little raised planters. In this one here, I've got some more snowball onions and some carrot seeds, which are just starting to come up, just germinating. I put them in really early, probably a little too early, but they're growing, so if they come to anything, that's great. If they don't, then I'll know for next year. In this row here, you probably can't see too well, but I've got 3 little rows of red onions in there. And they are just sprouting now. And in here, under this tunnel, I've got some spinach, which again is coming up. Well, it's that time, isn't it? Everything starts to come up at this time of year, so I've got this on just to keep them a little bit warm because it still gets fairly chilly at night. And I like my spinach, so I'm nurturing it, trying to not kill it. Over here I've got a bed that I've dug over a couple of times. I want to dig it over again before I plant in it because it's still got some sort of lumps. It's better than it was. Not so many roots and weeds anymore, but I'm still not 100% happy with it. Over here I've constructed a bean frame and planted some lettuce, various lettuce leaves and some pak choi. Went in there again about 2-3 days ago. Down here I've actually got my cucumbers out already, and it is far too early to have cucumbers out in the ground like this. I'm using these old plastic drink bottles to cover them up at night, but they were getting so leggy at home and I was running out of space, and I've got more at home anyway, so if they do die, which I must admit I am half expecting them to, it's no great loss. I'll know not to plant them so early next time even, and I'll stick out the ones that I've still got at home. I've done potatoes in this bed here. I didn't dig the ground quite so well in this bed. I did potatoes in really poor ground last year and they actually work pretty well, and they do break up the soil and the earth, which is a nice bonus of growing potatoes. But as you can see, they are again just coming up now. This row here and this row here are both rows of first earlies, and then I've got a row of second earlies there, and at the end I planted some King Edwards, which are main crops. Planted them about a week ago, so they're not coming up yet, which I wouldn't expect them to be up yet. Again, the potatoes have been planted a little bit close together, but I really wanted to fit 4 rows in. Probably means I won't get quite such a big crop as I could if I planted them further apart, but I mean 4 rows of potatoes, even if they give me a small yield per plant, is going to be more than enough for our household. Down here I've got some strawberries. I've got 2 varieties of strawberries. I've got Sweet Colossus here, which went in first. They are meant to produce massive berries. You know, the pictures of the kids holding them and the strawberry fills their hand. That's what I want. I'm not convinced I'm going to get it. And again, these here are a different variety, and I really can't remember the name of the variety, but it sounded tempting, so I went for them. I'll look and try and find what that variety was called at some point. And again, this is the first year these strawberries have been in, and they do say to pick the flowers and buds and things off in the first year because that allows the roots to establish, and in future years you'll get more strawberries as a result. But I know I should, but I can't bring myself to do it. I want strawberries this year. And next year I'll probably regret it, but no, for now I just want to see how they do. I've put this little fruit cage around them as well, because I want to keep the birds off, because they're my berries and not the birds' berries. This empty frame here is going to have watermelons in it. They say you can't grow watermelons in the UK, but I like a challenge and I'm going to give it a go. I've got this black weed resistant material down already warming the soil, and this will be covered when they actually go out as well, just to keep them really warm. Down here are the raspberries. Again, it's only the 2nd year of them being in, and I actually moved them back in January, February time while they were dormant, which is when it's best to move raspberry canes. They were just over there, but I decided I didn't want them there anymore. So I shifted them to here, and since transplanting them, all these leaves, it's all new growth, so they seem to have settled in well to their new home. Again, they're not massive because I got them as tiny little plug plants last year, so they've only had 1 year of proper growth. So I may not get many raspberries off them, but even 1 or 2 will be a treat. Moving over to this bed, at the minute I've just got some more onions. I've got loads of onions in the plot this year, just because I love onions and I use them so often. And then some spring onions that I just put in today along this row here. Up my archway I put some netting, and at the bottom I've planted out my sweet peas. To be honest, they're not looking as good as I was hoping. I sowed them in February, but I think they got a little bit root bound in the root train as I had them in, and they haven't grown too well. I'm hoping now that they're out they're going to do better. I put some bloodfish and bone in the holes before I transplanted them, which will hopefully give them that little bit of added extra nutrients and try and get them to grow a little bit more. Again, there's another one. The lady just a little bit up from me, she's got hers out as well, and they're about 3 times the size and they're bushy and beautiful. And I'm very jealous. Although over here I am very happy. The tulips I planted the same day as I did my garlic, and I didn't prepare the earth very well at all because I was late getting them in. I wasn't convinced they were going to do anything, so I basically just dug a hole and threw the bulbs in. Didn't take much care when planting them at all, so I'm actually really pleased to see they're flowering today. I was up a couple of days ago and they weren't flowering, and I came up here this morning and I saw these bulbs and these beautiful colours, and that definitely made me smile. So yeah, really happy with them, especially considering the lack of care that went into planting them. Over here I've just dug this bed today, and at the edges I've put in some cornflower, and I've also put some gladiola in, which I've buried, so obviously you can't see them. These pots here, they're not what's going to be planted here. All they are is purely signals really of where I can plant things, because I want to put some herbs in as well, and obviously with the bulbs being buried I'm not going to remember where they are, so I've put these plant pots here just to tell me that it's okay to plant underneath them. Over here I've got some carrots. Oh, my shadow keeps getting in the way. I don't know if you can see them, the sun's reflecting on this screen, but I'm trying to grow extra long carrots. This variety is a new red intermediate, which is meant to be good for growing long carrots. And I filled this bin with sharp sand and then bored out holes and just filled it with a mix of multi-purpose compost and good quality seed compost. Sieved it all, put it in, and then stuck the carrots in. And they're still alive, which is always a good sign. They went in a few days ago, and yeah, they are starting to grow a little bit as well, which is excellent. Generally you can't really transplant carrots, I don't really like it, but because they wanted to be extra long, I needed to get them in before the weather was warm enough to do them direct sowing outside, because they're going to need about 150 days at least to grow, so I had to get them in root trainers, and I transplanted them out. But yeah, they're still alive, I'm happy. This bed again has just been dug. I'm going to try and grow some quinoa in it. Never grown that before, never eaten it before, but it's an experiment. And an experiment's always a good thing. And again, down here I have dug out what is going to be a pond. It's going to be a pond when I've got some more money to be able to afford the silver sand and liner for it, really. That's the only thing that's stopped me doing it so far. It's always money that gets in the way, isn't it? But the hole's dug, and as soon as I become richer, I will get the pond completely finished as well. Right, so yeah, looking back, the sun's probably going to blind you, just like it's blinding me right now. I can't see what I'm filming, so hopefully this is okay. That's just a view of the allotment and how it's looking. I strimmed a little bit today. I strimmed as much as I could till the battery ran out. I've got one of these cheap £25 strimmers out of Argos, which is not bad, it does the job, but the battery only lasts about 15 minutes, so I don't get all of this done before it runs out. And yeah, that is about everything. I just thought I'd give a little update, because I say it's been a while since I've done one. And things have changed an awful lot since my last video. So yeah, that's it for today. Not a lot else to report. Lovely sunny day. Long may it continue. And I will give another update when I've done something else worth recording. Alright, see you later. Bye.